Hello, everybody. It is the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. We're live here for a little bit on a Thursday. Um, a lot of things to talk about, and the um, one of the main conversations last episode was about Elijah McClain and how it looked like there might be some justice coming for Elijah McClain. Um, Tonight, we open up with a little bit of information about Ahmaud Arbery. Um, a former district attorney in Georgia was indicted on charges of violating her oath of office and obstructing a police officer in connection with an investigation into the killing of Ahmaud Arbery. Arbery was a black jogger who was gunned down by two white men who chased him in a truck. The attack was caught on film by a third white man who was driving behind him in another vehicle. Former Brunswick Judicial Circuit prosecutor Jackie Johnson is accused of showing favor to one defendant in the shooting, Greg McMichael, and blocking the arrest of Travis McMichael, Greg's son. Um, she's a former district attorney, and one of the men accused of gunning down Arbery was a former investigator. Um, he was a retired police officer, and he had worked for this prosecutor. She recused herself of the case, and the grand jury indictment says that Johnson recommended the appointment of another county prosecutor to handle the case, but did not reveal that she had previously sought the assistance of that prosecutor in the Arbery investigation. She's also accused of improperly blocking the arrest of Travis McMichael, Greg's son. So, a little bit of news on the Ahmaud Arbery front. All the names, all the protesting. Could they be starting to pay off? All the times that people derided the protesters and said, they weren't getting anything done, that they were wasting time. Get a job. That was one of the major ones. Could it be that by keeping those names in the public eye, that something might happen in a positive nature for the families of some of those anyway that lost their lives too soon? Hurricane Ida ripped through Louisiana, especially New Orleans, and still people without power down there. People starting to get into some rather horrific living conditions down there, and 46 people at least have been found dead, many of them in their vehicles that were swept up, overtaken by floodwaters. Um, Also, I want to mention here while I'm on here again, just going to be a real short, quick live. Hello to Thunder. Hello to Young City. What's up? Um, in Georgia, there's someone else that has entered the Senate race in politics in Georgia, and he is entering the Senate race on the Republican side. He's a black man, a rather large black man that used to play professional football and was a college football star at the University of Georgia. And his name's Herschel Walker. And I was involved in politics. And until you've actually been involved in politics, you might think you have an idea how politics works. You have an idea of how they want you to think politics works, but how politics is incredibly dirty. Politics is incredibly nasty, and one thing that both political parties like to do is keep a stern control over who is going to be potentially representing their party. And they're going to drag Herschel Walker through the mud to make sure he's not the Republican nominee. And there's another black man already running for office, but this is about control of the party. Just to let you in a little bit of, it's about the Republicans making certain who represents their party and that they have a firm control over it. Democrats do the same thing. Okay. That's how Joe Biden got the nomination. Basically, they talked everybody else into quitting so they could all pool their resources and defeat Senator Bernie Sanders. That was the only real goal at the time, was just to make sure Bernie wasn't the nominee of the Democratic Party, because it's about controlling. All right. It's all about, control. It's about who controls the political parties. And don't think that you can just go and join a political party. All right. The Democrat Party is a private entity. They make up their own rules. They play their own game. Republicans are the same way. There's nothing public about it, but yet these two entities control our entire government by controlling who is even possibly up for election. And at the same time, those two entities are controlled by higher powers as far as financially, based upon donations and who gets the money and who doesn't. So that's the way that works. It's not sour grapes on my part. I found out how things worked, and I said, I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to, actually represent the people. And here I am talking to you instead of ever being elected to office. And I'm okay with that. I can look at myself in the mirror. Trump has also endorsed Herschel Walker, which is going to make this very interesting in Georgia, because the Georgia State Party and the Republican National Party do not want Herschel Walker on the ballot. And it could be that they are finally going to start distancing themselves from Donald Trump, because Herschel Walker is a really good friend of Donald Trump, and they can't control Donald Trump. And I would say they have a pretty good feel, as I do, that they wouldn't be able to control Herschel Walker. So again, it's all about controlling, and just giving you a little something. Hi, Sissy. Thank you for the message earlier. I'm not 100%, guys, in any way, shape, or form, but everything's okay. We're pushing forward. The last thing I wanted to kind of touch on tonight, and this is going to become incredibly big news, and it's going to have reverberations all across the nation. The state of the state of Texas has basically sent a challenge on Roe versus Wade, the first volley fired, if you will, at overturning a woman's right to choose. And what Texas has done is they have passed a state law that requires a 6-week waiting period before you can seek an abortion. And basically what that does is that gives time for 6 weeks of development, so that, and this is just, but it's got to be talked about, so that basically you're getting past any argument that it's not a baby that is getting killed. My personal opinion on all of this and has always been ever since I started running for office. It's always been the exact same position. I'm not a woman. I'm not a doctor. I believe that's who should be making women's medical decisions, not the government. That's just me. Okay. Um, and I also believe that it's okay not to agree with abortions. And if you don't want an abortion, don't have one. And if you don't agree with it, fine. But pushing your views onto others um, is basically not what America was formed on. Um, America was basically formed on acceptance, on acceptance um, of people um, that weren't accepted in their home countries. Um, Sometimes we lose sight of that what this country actually started as and who actually started it, because a whole lot of people now claim that they've done a whole lot of things um, to make America great. And not only aren't we really a beacon to the world, we're not even a beacon to our own people. Um, Incredibly divided country, and it's going to get even more divided. And you're going to hear me talking about this is the last news thing I got. Then I'll hop into the comments for a couple minutes if anybody has anything. Um, September 18th is the next potential trigger date. The next potential call for an uprising by the extreme far right, the white supremacists, the neo Nazis, um, that want to overthrow the government. I talked about it in the last episode from the phone call that was leaked by the wasn't leaked but reported to by Homeland Security, and there is a constantly growing chatter leading up to September 18th. If you happen to be watching this and you consider yourself a 3%er, a patriot, anybody that's going to take part in any uprising whenever it may happen, email me, americandufus at gmail.com. I'd really like to have you on the show and talk to you about some things. Not in judgment, just listen to some rationale from your side. It's what we know at the moment. September 18th, Washington, D.C., there is going to be a rally. The purpose of the rally in Washington, D.C. is to demand freedom to anyone that has been charged in the riot in January 6th. The demand for freedom is also an attempt to rewrite history, as they're saying there was no riot, there was no disturbance, there was no destruction, there was nothing that ever happened. It was basically a tour. That is what is going to come out in public, that there's going to be a rally in Washington, D.C. The buzz under the ground, the buzz underneath is that the September 18th rally is a trigger point, that the purpose is to get enough people in D.C. on the 18th that everybody's focus is on D.C. when the rest of the country, wherever else things are going to happen. I'm assuming it's going to be the states that Trump lost, Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, I think are the states that are that as far as I'm saying the United States of America's intelligence thinks that those are going to be the potential hotspots should something ever happen. the 11th of August, just last month, was supposed to be, the trigger point with the emergency broadcast. That still is very questionable. Um, and we'll probably never actually know what went down with that. Why so many radio stations and TV stations didn't get that message, and why so many people that have their phones set up for such alerts did not get those messages. But now the buzz is on the 18th, and we're going to stay focused on that as we get closer to that time, and I'll let you know if things start ratcheting up, as I anticipate they will, um, and any intelligence that is passed my way. So I think that's about it for tonight. Um, okay, let's hop over here to the comments real quick. Don't That's not right at all. Women have rights. It's their body. If a woman is raped or is it's endangering the baby or mother life, she should have the right to do what she has to. Sissy, I can't disagree with that. My opinion is basically what the law is, because there's not a lot a man can do if the woman he's with decides to have an abortion, because it's her body. And so I'm not a doctor. I'm not a woman. Those decisions, in my opinion, should be left up to them. If it happens, will someone live stream Thunder? Yeah, I can just about guarantee that there will be people live streaming if things do ever kick off. And I don't report on this stuff because I want it to happen. I talk about this stuff in hopes that powers that be will make sure it doesn't happen, and also in case something does happen, that the people that watch this show are aware, aware that it could, and that's the most likely date at the moment that it will. Um, the Proud Boys and Antifa, they've been going at it just about every weekend on the West Coast. I talked about it a little bit on here, but it is escalating, and so that's what I mean by I'm going to be watching things to see if things start to escalate as we get towards the 18th. Yeah, Thunder, you're right. This stuff is historic, and the stuff I had on January 6th, the stuff I was shooting out live on January 6th was historic, and most of it got taken down because they said it violated that I was promoting a lie about the election, which that wasn't the intent of anything I was broadcasting. But nonetheless, when you're when you're on somebody else's platform, so to speak, we like to say these are our platforms. Those of us that get on here and talk, but the actual platform is YouTube, and they make the rules and they control what gets out and what doesn't. I normally back up everything. I normally have a copy of everything. I didn't then. One other thing I do want to mention that's going to be coming up here on the show. We're coming towards the we're coming towards the 1 year anniversary of the second visit by NFAC to Louisville, Kentucky. And I am going to go back and put together some video footage of some of those episodes, just to remind people what actually did go down in Louisville, September the 5th. Pootie Tang. Thank you very much, Pooty. I appreciate you. Appreciate you subscribing. Um, Everything from Grandmaster Jay, the January 6th. A lot of the stuff from Grandmaster Jay got taken down too. But I've still got some stuff from the second time. A lot of the stuff from the first time got taken. I try to, Thunder. I try to talk about things that aren't getting talked about enough. Sometimes don't get talked about at all, and sometimes the mainstream picks it up 2 or 3 days later. But thank you for noticing. I try to do that. So many fools still think that. Sorry. It was a powerful lie, and it started before the election even happened. Trump laid the bed for it by saying, if I don't win this election, it was stolen. So his absolute loyalist of loyal followers went into it thinking that way. There are millions of people that still think that way and believe that way. And there are millions of people that won't get vaccinated because Donald Trump, for 9 months, didn't tell anybody publicly. We all knew it because of White House records, but he wouldn't say he got vaccinated. And when he did say it, he got booed because of his own moves. But, it's one of those situations. You create a problem, you blame somebody else, and then you play the victim. That goes on so many times in our world. You see people do it on reality shows. You see politicians do it. You see, if you're aware of it, somebody creates a problem. First thing they do when they create a problem is they blame somebody else, and then they claim the victim. That's kind of the way society is today. Well, thank you, Pooty. All I do is report on things, and the watchdog group of the NFAC, they do their diligence, they do the work, they investigate, and they're all, and they're also they're not just saying, "Hey, stop." They're saying, "Hey, stop," and if people don't stop, they're taking some actions. So all I have ever said about any of that is, if you are doing fundraising, do it right, so there's no question, and if you're taking advantage of the Black community, stop, because the Black community doesn't need taken advantage of anymore. And that's the main message from NFAC Watchdog, is stop taking advantage of the Black community, that they are going to stop people from taking advantage of their people. That's their message in a nutshell. Boss Talk keeps it real. You always see that the Watchdog is an NFAC. GMJ will be letting it be known they aren't NFAC. Trust me. GMJ is the only one who speaks for NFAC, and you know that, Barry. I'm not speaking for the NFAC, and Watchdog isn't speaking for the NFAC. Watchdog is protecting the NFAC and the NFAC brand, and doing so. I don't know this to be fact, but we all know that if Watchdog wasn't doing something Grandmaster Jay wanted, Watchdog wouldn't be doing it. Even as an old white observer on the outside, Grandmaster Jay has done this the only way that it can be done, and it has to be done from top down, and in order to build it quick, some people got in that shouldn't have got in, and they got weeded out, and some people joined that didn't understand what they were joining, and they got out. But don't think that it's going anywhere. Don't think that that NFAC is defunct or anything like that, because um, I think you'll find out that that's just not the case. Um, okay. GMJ is about to let it be known they aren't NFAC and don't have anything to do with them. Trust me. All right. Well, we'll see. You may be right. I don't know. Putang, that was because of using the brand NFAC when NFAC did not want that brand used. That's why they went after that person. And from the start, I've had information, I've had receipts, if you will, of all kinds of things, and it wasn't ever about putting anybody in jail or anything like that. Just getting people to stop. So not everything that has been disclosed has come out or has come out from me. I just report, and you may be right. We'll find out. So, hey, that's a good spot to end. Just about at the half-hour mark. I'm going to keep doing these lives once or twice a week, and I've got some other things that I'm working on that have been taking some time, and I do appreciate everybody that watches the show, everybody that shares it. I know a lot of people put it in an email and send it off to everybody. I appreciate that. I really do. Thunder, the new gun law in Texas. Did Texas become open carry? I'm assuming, or I'm sure they didn't do any anti-gun law in Texas. Thanks, David Weeks. I try really hard not to. Don't be a doofus either. Thank you, Sissy. We're working to take care. I'll check and see what the new gun law is, and we'll talk about it. Until next time, it is the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. It's a dark world. Do try to be a light. Try to just do something nice for somebody, even if it's just giving a smile to a stranger and a wave. Especially if it's somebody that doesn't look like you, or you might believe doesn't think or believe like you. Just a little smile, a little niceness. Take care of yourselves. I love you all. Thank you so very much. Peace. Don't be a doofus.